Live from the 607, it's the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, where we're talking everything going on in the world of sports. Join in the conversation on social media with the hashtag ODPH, because here we go.
Instead of looking deep inside, every word I have to say, keep it simple.
Welcome to an all-new edition of the ODPH podcast. What is happening, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us this week. My name is Ken M. Joining me in studio, as always, you know him. He's a co-host. He's a man of 1,004 aliases. He's a statistician to the stars. His name is Padawan J.
Oh, let me talk to you.
And folks, we have a lot to talk about in the land of sports. That is the big moving and shaking going on in the world of pop culture. Entertainment has been a little quiet.
Yeah, it's the summer lull.
It's a summer lull because everybody's revving up for the movie season kicking into place.
San Diego Comic-Con's coming soon.
Yeah, so we got a little entertainment to talk about, so we're going to make this a fusion edition of the ODPH, and we definitely like to talk to everybody after the show. So, Pad, where does everybody go?
ODPHpodcast.com.
For the blogs, for the TeePublic store link, for the social media links, because they're all up there. They're updated. We talk to everybody on there. For the directory, which, Pad, how many providers are we on?
We are on 784,654.
So wherever you're listening to the ODPH on, first and foremost, thank you for checking us out. Leave us a review on your favorite podcatcher. It helps the algorithm of the show. That's what I'm told. Also, remember the classifieds section, which has friends of the show, such as 3FM Podcast, Dragon Master Games, Nerd Initiative, and many more. Last but certainly not least, a fantastic music section, which you can find out about bands such as Brian Wolf and the Howlers, which he still has to send us up that new single. We're waiting on that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Brian. Also, Tom Jolu tore it down. Actually did a little something special here in the 607. If you're not following him, make sure you do that. Second Suitor, Floodlands, and Shadow of the Robots. Basically, if it's anything and everything, it is the ODPH. You can find it at odphpodcast.com and on social media. If you're using hashtags, why not use the hashtag ODPHpod? Kicking off this edition of the show, we have to recap the finals matchups for the NBA because now 4 went to 2. But there is a late-breaking story that you know we're going to deep dive in on. So, Pad, let's talk NBA Finals. Who's there? Why are they there? Who do you think is going to win? And then, obviously, got to touch upon that breaking news.
Yeah, so we're going to start out in the Western Conference Finals where you had the Oklahoma City Thunder defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Gentlemen sweep 4-1.
Well, this series went a lot different than I thought it was going to go. Anthony Edwards was doing everything in his power to show up and show out. Unfortunately, he did not perform as well as we thought.
No.
There was a glimmer of hope in some games. Obviously, a crushing 2-point loss in a pivotal Game 4 really put the proverbial nail in the coffin.
Really also doesn't help when SGA is averaging, over 30 points a game.
No, it definitely does not help. SGA and the rest of the Oklahoma City Thunder really showed up and showed out. And I think that they know this is their time.
Yeah.
That obviously, as they grow older in the league, contracts come up, salary cap issues come up. Oklahoma City is stocked with draft picks more than I know.
Oh, my God.
So
yeah,
they're going to be phenomenal for quite some time. I've heard some crazy rumors, and I don't even want to elaborate on air about who's coming there possibly.
Well, allegedly, we're going there.
That is true. Padawan J is working out the details right now with his agent.
Oh, my God. I just Googled how many draft picks they have.
Exactly. It's
32.
It's something insane.
It's 32 from now until 2031. 15 of them are first-round picks. 17 of them are second-round picks. Oh, my God.
It's wild.
And this is including their own picks plus the ones they've gotten from other teams through trades.
Yeah, they liquidated assets.
Holy smokes. This is the first time I can think of where you've had a team in the finals that isn't super strapped for picks.
Yeah. No, they liquidated assets when they were dealing everybody.
Oh, Lord.
They just loaded up on draft picks. So that's why Oklahoma City is going to be here to stay.
Whoever their GM is needs to what is those series called where you can pay money and they teach you classes, but it's not in a class or master class. The OKC GM needs to do a master class on front office work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Holy smokes!
They've built a true dynasty here. It just depends on how long they can keep everybody.
Well, and how long just their, I don't want to say stamina, but just how long they can kind of keep up this run.
Well, the only question we'll have, and obviously depending on how the finals go, is when you are accustomed to winning.
Yeah.
And this team is built to win for quite some time.
In theory.
In theory. how much is that going to be motivating them as they move forward? This season, they had a chip on their shoulder. They knew that they had to make a statement. They came in and they really just punched Minnesota in the mouth.
Oh, Lord.
Except for a couple games, this was literally all Oklahoma City.
So, game 1 went to Oklahoma City, 114-88. Game 2, same way, 118-103. Game 3 also went to, game 3 went to Minnesota, 143-101. Game 4 went to OKC, 128-126. And then Game 5 went to OKC, 124-94.
Yeah. So this has been all SGA and company really stepping up and doing what they need to do, because I think a lot of teams took them maybe not so seriously because they're so young.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought with the team built in Minnesota, they had enough pieces to steal this. Well, I legit did.
Oh, I did too. And I like I said in the preview, going into this series and who we thought was going to make it, I said Minnesota, just because you look at what happened last year, where a lot of folks, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of folks picked them to go to the finals. They're like, yeah, they're the clear-cut favorites. You look at all the pieces they've got. Everyone's crowning Anthony Edwards as the next face of the NBA. And then it didn't go their way in rather embarrassing fashion. And I figured, you know what? Loss is a real powerful motivator. Look at what Tom Brady did for all those years.
Oh, yeah.
When he lost and he wanted to turn it around. That loss is a real powerful motivator. Brady, Tiger Woods, Derek Jeter, some of the greats of sports, that I figured, you know what? They're going to want to take that, flip the script, and go, we're not a joke. We're real contenders, and we're going to prove it to you. And, well, different year, same result. Yeah, this is something that obviously they've grown from, and they're going to take this chip on their shoulder into the finals. For Minnesota, though, this has to be a letdown and a question of where do we go from here? Yeah. Because Anthony Edwards played very well, albeit though the last game, 19 points, which some might say not ideal. It's not ideal for him, right? For what he's been doing. Well, and I would say for the entire team. But for the entire team, you take a look. Julius Randle showed up, but then again, he had his struggles in the playoffs as well. Oh yeah, and other than those two gentlemen, they did not get a lot of support from their other team. Oh, Minnesota Timberwolves. Here we go. Jaden McDaniels, 5 points. Julius Randle, 24 points. Rudy Gobert, 2. Anthony Edwards, 19. Mike Conley, none. Dante DiVincenzo, 6. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, none. Naz Reid, 11. Terrence Shannon Jr., 11. Rob Dillingham, 7. Jalen Clark, 2. Josh Minot, 3. And Luke Garza, 4. So when you're not getting support like that in a pivotal game, that is your season. Remember we talked last week about, the plus minus and how shocking that was. This one just as bad, because to get to somebody on those box scores that I mentioned, those scores that I mentioned in the positives, you got to go down to Rob Dillingham, who scored 7 points, and when he was on the floor, the points swung 4 points in their favor. Everybody else in the negatives. Well, yikes! That's the problem they have. And like we say, for a pivotal game, they needed to show up and show out, and they didn't. It was the worst possible time to have a brain fart. So now they have to look at an off season where, do you make some moves? How do you improve? There's a lot of question marks involving this team that I don't necessarily have answers for right now. I know that there's been a lot of rumors about possible people coming there. Sure. Which, listen, I think Edwards needs some help. He needs another scorer on this team. Yeah. Randall, after seeing him in New York for all those years, listen, I had an idea this might happen. Yeah. And it's just a matter of he's streaky. When it gets in the playoffs, he's very, very streaky, in my opinion. And he's not enough to carry him through. They need another piece here to really put him over the top. Well, whether Randall comes back or not really isn't up to them, because I'm looking at Spotrac.com, and it is the Minnesota Timberwolves free agents for this upcoming offseason. Julius Randle is one among them, but he has a player option for the upcoming season. So really, whether he's back or not ain't up to the team. You've got Naz Reid, who has a player option. Joe Ingles is an unrestricted free agent. Let's see. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is an unrestricted free agent, but he's got a bird. Luka Garza has a club option along with Josh Minot. You've got Nashawn Highland, who is an unrestricted free agent / two-way. And then Tristan Newton is a restricted free agent along with Jesse Edwards. those are their free agents.
Yeah, they're going to have to definitely make some moves. And if Randall decides to come back, I could see him opting out, though.
Oh, I could, yeah.
But it depends on where he thinks he's going to be a better fit for. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I don't really know at this stage.
Yeah.
Because there are a few teams he could go to, but is it enough to get a championship? Because ultimately, that's what he's looking for. I think in Minnesota, it makes sense for him to stay, but they need to add another scorer, a legit one.
Oh, I agree.
You can't.
Anthony Edwards is good.
But you can't rely on anybody other than him.
Right. Anthony Edwards is good. He's clearly the best player on that team. But right now, all of the focus defensively can go on him, and you need other guys to step up. And, well, I read you the box score.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have it.
Ain't nobody stepping up.
No, DiVincenzo can do what he can, but listen, it's not enough when you look at the broad scheme. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. So when you take a look at that, they are going to need to add somebody.
I'm looking at the salary cap table for the NBA. This is for the 2025-2026 season. As they're currently constructed, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 24th in the NBA. This is going from going down.
Most cap space to least.
Most cap space to least cap space. So they're 24th in the NBA. They have they're minus $93,567,974.
Yeah, so
they need to move some pieces.
They're going to have to do something. I just don't know exactly what. If they can restructure with Randall, that would make a lot of sense. Otherwise, you're going to need to get Edwards somebody. I don't know who exactly.
LeBron James. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm not going to. Well, I was going to say, I know everybody wants to say Giannis, but I don't think they have enough to get him there.
No.
I don't think they do.
I can try.
The scary thing is Oklahoma City probably does have enough to get him if they want to really go after him.
Oh, maybe.
But they'll have to decide. But then again, they have such a good team that I don't know if they want to really ruffle those feathers unless they have to. Because if you have this core unit playing well, and it's all people, for the most part, they've drafted, coming in and gelling together and really being a cohesive unit that's playing both sides of the ball. They're playing an exceptional defense, which is getting underrated, in my opinion. Why would you bring in Giannis unless you wanted just an extra piece? But then again, at the same point, you're going to have to share the ball with him and SGA and Holmgren. Like, it's going to get a little messy if they decide to do it. Could they make this work? Yeah, I'm sure they could. But to give up a lot what you have, but it all depends on what they want to do and how these finals go. That's going to be the key thing. If they come home with a chip, you can cross Giannis off the table. They're not going to go get him.
Right.
They don't need him. The other name I heard was tagged around, which is Kevin Durant.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, if they wanted to, but then again, I go back to this piece. This entire season, they've lost 14 games. What do they need to add that they're not already doing well enough?
Yeah.
And that's going to be the question now coming out of the finals, because we do know who's going to be facing them.
Yeah, we do.
And there's a lot of comments to be made about this series and the fallout from it. Pat, I will let you take the lead.
Yeah, so this was the Eastern Conference Finals where you had the Indiana Pacers defeat the New York Knickerbockers 4-2. Indiana took game 1, 138-135 in overtime. Game 2 went to Indiana with a 114-109 victory. Game 3 went to the Knicks with a 106-100 victory. Game 4 went to the Indiana Pacers with a 130-121 victory. Game 5 went to the Knicks with a 111-94 victory, and Game 6 went to the Indiana Pacers with a 125-108 victory.
Well, this is how we can sum this up.
They overachieved?
The Knicks, no.
Oh.
They didn't play defense. And this is a team that was put together with the defensive side of things in mind.
In theory.
Well, they get Bridges and they trade away a lot of their draft capital for him to get him from Brooklyn. And he plays well. He played great against Boston.
Phenomenally.
He did okay against Indiana. It was a very, very different look that he showed them.
Well, I think it was a case of Indiana knew to look for it.
Well, not necessarily. They might have knew to look for it. Same thing with Anunoby, but the problem is they have a deeper bench.
Because Bridges stepped up in the Boston series, and I went, where the hell did this come from?
Well, this is what he's always had.
Right. I went, where the hell did this come from? And then you never really saw that in the Indiana series.
Well, the Indiana series, they threw him different looks, and the problem was they were out of sync.
Right.
That was the big thing. I don't want to hear that they were tired, because that's not a fair statement. But what happened was they got punched in the mouth in game 1 with the luckiest bounce that we talked about last week.
Yes, we did.
And it went in, and we said on the show last week that the Knicks were going to have to play lights out the rest of the series they're going to have to lock in on defense. They knew what was coming, and they were going to have to implement their will. Game 5, they did.
Oh, yeah, 111-94.
Because they came out with, and they knew that it was lose and go home.
Yep.
The problem I saw with Game 6 is they showed the pregame warm-ups, and they were very, very loose.
Right.
There was no sense of urgency in them.
Mm-hmm.
And all the goodwill that they did in Game 5, where they played lockdown defense, they made the Pacers play their game, they instantly went away from. And I don't know why, to be honest with you. This is on Thibodeau and his coaching scheme because he did not make adjustments with that bench, and he had people on the bench that were actually producing.
Right.
So it's not like he had to go to that 7-man rotation.
Right.
He did have other people stepping up to go and help out. But when they started playing lazy defense, and a lot of this is on Karl Anthony Towns, they were destined to fail because, once again, first half, it is very, very close.
Yeah.
It's separated by, 5 points? Maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
So they are still in this game. However, the minute that second half shows up, the Knicks struggle to score, and the Pacers are getting all rebounds, and they're going right down the court. They jumped out to a 12-0 run to start the second.
I think it was something like that.
They
it was
were
like 12 or 14.
Yeah, they were making moves in a hurry, and the Knicks, every time they would score, they would give up an instant basket back. That is a problem, and that is literally why they lost this series. They did not control the tempo of the game, and they had lackluster defense when it mattered most.
I mean, you brought up Game 5, but you look at the stats for Game 5. The highest scorer on the Indiana Pacers team, I won't even run through the whole thing, the highest scorer on the Indiana Pacers team was Benedict Mathurin. Well, you might be sitting there going, who? And you look at it, and yeah, he played in 72 games this year, averaged just over 16 points a game. So he outscored his season average. But then you can look on basketballreference.com, you got the win shares, which is an estimate of the number of wins contributed by a player. Take a guess, according to the math they've gotten with however that works behind the scenes. Guess how many wins he contributed to during this regular season?
0.
3.
Okay.
He contributed, according to their math, to 3 wins for the entire season. Their second highest score for the Indiana Pacers that Game 5, oh, you know the name, Obi Toppin, who played in 79 games, averaged 10.5 points during the regular season, and contributed to just over 4 wins. So, but then you look at the rest of the team. Okay, you got the big names: Halliburton, 8 points; Nembhard, 6. Siakam, all right, that was decent. You had 15 points there, but like the rest of them, Naismith, 3. Shepherd, 8. So they stepped up like you know what in Game 5, and then decided to coast in Game 6. Like, oh, don't worry, we got this in the bag. We'll force it to Game 7. You don't know that.
Well, that's the whole problem. The Pacers, they took that out. Like you read off the stats for Game 5 for them. Game 6, they came back when Toppin is getting 18 points off the bench.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
When Siakam is running crazy on OG Anunoby for 31.
Yeah, Naismith, 10. You mentioned Siakam, 31. Miles Turner had 11. Nembhard had 14. Halliburton had 21. Benedict Mathurin had 4. Obi Toppin had 18. Thomas Bryant had 11.
Yeah.
Of your high scores.
So where's the defense? There is none. That's the biggest problem that they had. And Thibodeau should have made changes about this. That is the problem that they had. When Shamet is scoring 12 off the bench, you need to make an adjustment to help him out, because why is McBride only taking 2 shots on 11 minutes?
Right.
That doesn't make any damn sense to me.
Nope. And one of those shots was a 3-point attempt.
Josh Hart, who sacrificed minutes and came off the bench, he took that role.
1 for 6.
1 for 6. Had a bad game. Took a bad shot, though, too.
2 of those were from 3.
That's the problem. They had no bench depth, and when you were looking at the other side of the ball for the offense, yeah, Towns had 22. Jalen Brunson had an off night, which unfortunately he can't.
Happens.
Well, he can't have it with this team. Like that's the sad thing about it. He needed somebody to step up.
Yeah.
Anunoby had a great offensive game, 24 points, but Bridges, he did not have a great game. Mitchell Robinson, that is about average for him with 8 points. So I'm not
Sure.
I don't expect him to light it up.
Sure.
But then you look at that bench, and literally Shamit's the only one in double digits. Everybody else had 4 or less.
Shamit's in double digits, but then he didn't do anything on the defensive side. He's got 0 rebounds.
Yeah.
2 assists, which, hey, cool. 0 steals, 0 blocks.
Because he got garbage threes at the end.
Yeah.
When they were down by 20 late in that third quarter, it was already a wrap.
Right.
Because they weren't coming back because they were tired and they were worn out and they were so out of sync on defense. Like, literally, that's what cost them this series. They could have won this. They should have won game 1. They took the foot off the gas pedal for their defense in game 1, and they got bit by the luckiest bounce shot in history.
Yeah.
And then game 2, they lost outright, which I thought, and I said it on the show here too, they were going to split at home. The problem is when the Knicks came back, won game 3 by 6, there was a chance to win there. But however, they let game 4 slip through their grasp, much like game 6. And the thing is, they can't go back and forth with this Pacers team and try keeping up the pace when the bench is getting active and putting up the points that they did.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate thing that cost them this series. And unfortunately, as we're coming to air, it did cost Tom Thibodeau his job.
A little surprised.
Well, there's a lot to go in with this. So I'll just kind of sum it up. We got the Pacers. We got Oklahoma City.
Yep.
Who you taking in the finals?
Well, let me read off the schedule here. Game 1 starts Thursday, June 5th. All of these times are, with the exception of a couple games, most of the start times are at 8:30. Check your local listings. They'll be on ABC. Game 1 is Thursday, June 5th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. After that, it's Sunday, June 8th, Wednesday, June 11th, Friday, June 13th. Game 5, if necessary, Monday, June 16th. Game 6, Thursday, June 19th, and then Game 7. Sunday, June 22nd, but as I mentioned, 5 through 7, if necessary. Who do I think is going to win? I tell you this. I think it'll be a contentious series. I think it'll go at least 6. I'm leaning towards 7. And I'm not entirely sure Oklahoma City can keep up with just the pace and style that Indiana plays. They're good. They're young. They got a lot of energy, but it's just a different level Indiana is playing at that I'm not sure Oklahoma City can do it. I think they'll contend. I think they'll scrap. I don't think any of these games are really going to be a blowout like you've seen between the two conference final series. But I think ultimately it's going to end up being Indiana.
Thunder in 5.
Really?
I think that they are going to do the one thing the Knicks should have done and the Knicks could have done, and that is shut them down on the wings.
Okay.
They are deep on that defensive side of the ball, and I think that they are literally going to lock down those wings, so all those extra three-point attempts that they were getting, they're not going to have that opportunity to. I think SGA is going to go crazy in this series. I think he's going to absolutely destroy Halliburton. I don't think it's going to be fair. Like, this is going to be one of those video games on easy mode for him. I do think the Pacers will contend. I'm not saying they're going to get ran out of the gym every night.
Right.
I will say, though, I do expect them to lose pretty handedly by 10 points or more for a couple of those games. I think game 1, might be their only chance to steal one.
Okay.
But if they don't take game 1, they're going to have to really struggle in game 2 because I think Oklahoma City, if they get into a groove, they're going to be very, very tough. And they're deep. They're just as deep as the Pacers.
Sure.
But the one thing is, you take a look at that Knicks series. How many games were within 10 that the Knicks lost?
I can pull it up.
That's the one key element because this is also a Knicks team that didn't play defense.
Game 1, 3-point loss.
In overtime, yep.
In overtime. Game 2 was a 5-point loss. 3 was a 6-point win. Game 4 was a 9-point loss. Game 5 was a whatever point win. And then you had game 6 was a, 10?
They got blown out.
Yeah, they got blown out in game 6. So at least 2 of those were close.
Three of those wins that the Pacers got were within 10.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City plays way better defense. Caruso is going to have a great series too. Hartenstein, I think, is going to give Siakam problems if he tries coming underneath.
Probably.
I'm calling this Thunder in 5. Like I said, Pacers are going to steal one somewhere, possibly a game 3, but They're not taking the series.
OKC, UFC, KFC.
Yep.
Thunder and 5.
Thunder and 5. Lock that in. Lock that in. But as we were alluding to, though, Tom Thibodeau was fired after the series was done.
Was announced this afternoon by Shams Charania.
Break it down for us, Pat.
So the article on ESPN.com, which was from Shams and Chris Herring, reads, quote, fresh off their deepest playoff run in 25 years, the New York Knicks fired coach Tom Thibodeau on Tuesday. The decision comes 3 days after the Knicks were ousted from the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games by the Indiana Pacers, their longtime rivals. But it also comes after New York advanced further than expected with a relatively new core of players, knocking out the defending champion Boston Celtics in the second round. Thibodeau, who surpassed Pat Riley earlier this season to rank 4th on the franchise list in victories, led the Knicks to back-to-back 50-win seasons for the first time since 1995. He'd been by far the club's most successful coach over the past 2+ decades and signed a 3-year extension with the team just last summer. Quote, our organization is singularly focused on winning a championship for our fans, team president Leon Rose said in a statement. This pursuit led us to the decision to inform Tom Thibodeau that we've decided to move in another direction. We can't thank Tom enough for pouring his heart and soul into each and every day of being the New York Knicks head coach. Ultimately, we made the decision we feel is best for our organization moving forward. Tom will always be a part of our Knicks family, and we truly wish him nothing but the best in the future, close quote.
Well, there's a lot to digest here.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, the performance against the Pacers does not help. And even though the Knicks have consistently improved, they still are not getting over the hump. Now, would I have fired Thibodeau? No, but I would have made it very clear he is on the hot seat.
Right.
I don't think that he would have gone, if they did not bring home a chip next season, I don't think he should have stayed.
Okay.
So I could understand them making a move. Now, the question is, how are the players reacting to this? Because Jalen Brunson was very vocal. He liked Thibodeau.
Right, and he got asked about it right after the game ended in the press conference after the game, and he's like, are we really asking this right now?
Well, I think that they have to find out what went wrong.
Right.
Because you made a lot of big moves this offseason. Getting Mikal Bridges out of Brooklyn, getting Karl Anthony Towns out of Minnesota.
Sure.
You gave up a lot to go get them. So pairing them with the established team that you had with Brunson and Hart, you re-sign Anunoby.
Sure.
You went all in about this team.
Sure.
So the fact that your team broke down at the worst possible time says something. I know that there was comments made about the minutes that they were playing.
Repeatedly over the last couple of years.
Right.
Yeah.
So was that a sense that there was a disconnect happening? Maybe the start. I mean,
smoke, there's fire.
I mean, there's got to be something there. But if it's not translating into somebody that lives by defense and you put on that poor of a performance against the Pacers yet again,
right,
that's an issue.
Right.
So it might be a situation where, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I could see where James Dolan is coming from.
Sure.
And saying, listen, we're not going to wait till next season. We have to do this now.
Sure.
We're embarrassed. Now, granted, I did think they acted a little irrationally.
Sure.
Because I would have waited till after the finals to do this.
According to Shams, because the news broke and I saw the clip from the Pat McAfee show. Pat was live on air when this news broke. He called Shams, and the one thing, because he asked Shams, he's like, "How soon did this happen?" They started, according to Shams, the Knicks started having internal discussions about just the future as soon as the game was over.
Oh, I'm sure.
Now I don't know whether that's like 5 minutes or the next morning. But they didn't. Obviously, as you can tell, we're sitting here, not even a week removed from the end of the series, and they've already let Thibodeau go. They didn't wait.
Well, I think that they had a plan in place. I think that they saw how games 1 and 2 went, and went, "What are we doing here?" Because that defense did not show up, and this is a guy that builds his team on defense.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting this connection made through, is he the problem?
Well, I think. I will say I'm surprised by the news.
Yeah, it's surprising.
It's not the outcome the Knicks wanted. Obviously, it's championship or bust. But I figured, given the fact he made you to your first conference finals in literally this century, so in 25 years, and back-to-back 50-win seasons, and first time since 95. So at that point, you're going back 30 years. I figured, you know what? It's not what you wanted, but you know what? You earned yourself at least a little bit of breathing room to let's see how this goes and assess next season with a short leash, meaning God forbid they go in the opposite direction and it's a total stink job, fire him mid-season. If not, assess after next season and see where it goes from there. I understand why they did it, though, because to me, from an outside perspective, and by that I mean I'm not a Knicks fan. I like to see him do well, but am I actively watching the games and looking at the stat lines? And
You're not on 7th Ave with me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on 7th Ave with you or any of our friends. I'm looking at this going, okay, the Knicks have some pieces there, but maybe it's just they don't have the right general at the head of, the battalion. Or to use a better metaphor, it's almost like they're a Chevrolet and Thibodeau's a Ford exclusive mechanic. He knows enough to get by, and he knows enough to I can work on some parts, but it isn't my specialty. I don't know quite how to do some stuff. It could be a situation like that. And you know what? The one thing I've heard constantly over the last couple of years is, like you alluded to, the minutes and also just how poor he is at rotations.
Yeah. I mean, you take a look at their bench. They were running 7 people until literally they had no other choice, which is insane.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. There are some people that just doesn't work with. And you have to take a look at your team in general and go, okay, why are we just doing this? Because if you're only 2 bench players, are Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson, there's an issue.
Yeah.
Because what happens when we get into foul trouble? And that's what happened too with Brunson. That's what happened with Towns, playing very undisciplined defense.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I can't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
They played very undisciplined, especially in those losses where they had chances to stop Indiana from gaining momentum, and they didn't.
According to the box sheet from Game 6, the starters, Mikal Bridges, 32 minutes. Anunoby, 37 minutes. Karl Anthony Towns, 38 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, 30 minutes. Jalen Brunson, 34 minutes. On the bench, coming off the bench, Precious Achua, 2 minutes. Ariel Hukporti, 2 minutes. Miles McBride, 11 minutes. Josh Hart, 22 minutes. Deion Wright, 12 minutes. Landry Shamet, 16 minutes. Tyler Kolek, 2 minutes. Pecom Dadier, 2 minutes. And you had PJ Tucker and Cameron Payne did not play, coach's decision.
Right. So what is that telling you?
You have no faith in your bench.
Exactly. And if you're going to make a run in the playoffs, and that's why the Pacers got out to the start they did, Carlisle had faith in his bench.
I'll say, shit, I'm looking at the guys who played 2 minutes. You could put me on the court and I could put up the same numbers.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Hell, I could get at least 1 rebound.
Yeah.
Maybe throw out an assist.
So that fact just kind of sealed his fate. And I think that they got to a situation where they feel, okay, he's taken them as far as they can go.
It almost feels like a Joe Girardi situation at the end of his tenure with the Yankees, where the pieces are there if you thought they were there with the Yankees at that point. But you just need a fresh voice in the locker room.
Well, I think that's the problem. I think that you hit it right on the head. I think that his message is starting to get tuned out. The fact that we actually had players complaining about it openly, that's a problem, especially in New York. You can't say that in New York.
No.
So now it does make a little more sense. Even though Brunson was very fine with him. I mean, he's not getting mad about this. He's not saying I'm not going to play here.
Brunson doesn't ever strike me as the type that would actively say something, though.
Right. But I think the fact that he came out vocal in support, but then again, what's he going to say? Is he going to bash him? No. He's not going to do that. I think that this was a situation that they felt they needed to change pace with somebody. But the question is, who do you go get now?
Right.
There's one name that is probably the best fit, in my opinion, and that is Mike Malone, the former coach from Denver.
Right.
I think that would probably make the most sense to go get him. He does know how to do a little bench, so I would say he could probably make something happen here.
Probably.
Other than that, I know I heard Jay Wright get mentioned, and listen, as much as I love the Villanova love affair,
the meme is playing out too much.
Yeah, like listen, would it be a good story? Yeah, could Jay do it? I'm sure, but at the same time, do I think it's a good fit? No, I don't. I just don't think for somebody who's never coached in the NBA to come out of the commentating booth to do it, like you're asking a lot. I don't know. Like for me, it's Malone, and then who else?
Right.
And I mean, sure, you could get somebody in there, that has had experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know if I want to take that risk. I think what they must have done, if they knew they were firing him,
Right.
they have somebody in mind.
Probably.
That's the only thing that would make sense to me, because I can't see them going,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to fire a coach that's had great success in 5 years here and have no backup plan.
And for what it's worth, the last coach in the NBA to be fired after losing in 6 games in an Eastern Conference final, Doug Collins with the Chicago Bulls in 1989.
I believe it. But this is how it is a business, and they need
Yeah.
to, and they need to put some ideas together of what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I think the fact that they did this so quickly and decisively, and by that I mean they didn't wait. They waited all of a couple of days, and it's not even a week. If this would have happened after the finals or midway through the finals, I'd been like, all right, they really tennis matched or badminton back and forth whether they're going to do this or not. But the fact that they did this so quickly, it sounds like it was pretty universal in the front office staff that, okay, we need to do this, and they've probably got somebody in mind.
Well, I think it's just the fact that they saw what they had with Indiana, and if you are getting beat by Indiana,
Yeah.
and you literally see what the problem is, and there's no adjustments. Like, there was no spark in this team. You have tied so much money into this roster
Yeah.
that you're going to have to do one or two things now. Either you got to do a massive rebuild and try moving some contracts, or you're going to have to find somebody in there that can get the best out of this. And honestly, I'll ask you first, if you're the GM of the Knicks, what are you doing? If you're Leon Rose, what is your plan now?
I think you got to go out and you got to find at least a couple more bench players. I'm not saying they got to be like stellar 6 man of the year bench players, but you need something better coming off that bench.
I agree. I think for all the nonsense, and I'm going to say it out loud right now, for all the nonsense about getting Giannis out of Milwaukee, because allegedly, I want to stress the allegedlys here.
I mean, listen, I made it work on the trade machine.
I know you did, so put it out there because we're going to have to tweet that out because maybe somebody will read that. The allegedly that he said he wants to come to New York, it's going to take a lot to move.
It's really not.
Well, realistically, for what the Bucks want to do,
Sure.
that's the big argument there, because you've made it work with your trade machine here,
Yeah.
and could it work and would it make sense? Yeah, I mean,
I don't remember how I did it.
I think it was Robinson and Anunoby,
Let me see.
straight up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so if ESPN.com/NBA/trade machine. Select the Knicks and you select the Bucks. You select Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks. You select OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson. Straight up, it works.
See, as much as I would love to do that, because I would have no problem doing that, I do hate getting rid of Mitchell Robinson's defensive presence. Because if the Knicks had won that series against Indiana, he was getting the MVP.
For what it's worth, the analysis of the Knicks after that trade, they actually lose 4 wins.
Yeah. Well, because
And the Bucks add 5.
in the perfect world, Anunoby and Robinson play great defense.
Right.
Anunoby struggled, which I don't know what was going on in the playoffs. He just struggled on defense. He's usually very solid on both sides of the ball.
Could have been a funk.
Worst time to happen, too, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I say the same thing about Aaron Judge in the World Series last year.
Well,
it still happened.
Well, yeah, it happens every year, unfortunately. He's got to get out of that. I don't know how. But I do agree with you. I think if I'm the GM of the Knicks, I'm not making any rash moves. I'm not shipping Towns out to Milwaukee and whatever assets I have, because he still put up a lot of your offensive points. You didn't bring him in for lights out defense. You brought him in so Brunson had a scoring option, which he was. The problem is your other role players did not step up to play defense at the right time. So if you want to go get Giannis, you are going to have to give up somebody else. If Bridges is on a 1-year deal left or whatever his contract is, I would tie it in with him. But I don't think you have enough assets to get him. You'd have to get a third team involved. Who? I don't know. Somebody in the West probably. Like, I could see San Antonio getting into the mix, but I don't necessarily know if they would or how it would play out. If I'm the Knicks, though, I go get bench. That's what I do. I start finding people like Dalton Knet from the Lakers.
Yeah,
from the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because if LeBron was ready to get rid of him last season, allegedly, and they were trying to move him, He's a solid bench player. He makes $3 million a year. It fits in the cap. Go for it. Like, I don't see how you don't.
Right.
And you got to add just a couple more pieces, but you're also going to you have to get a coach in there that's going to let you do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get that in there, it's all for nothing. So that's the only argument I have for them is I wouldn't go dismantling this team. This team got to the got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
It beat Boston straight up.
Yeah.
I don't care if Tatum hurt his ankle the one game. They were already in a 3-1 lead. They weren't going to blow 3 games in a row. So if they can go get some bench help, I think this team will be okay, and they just need somebody else to guide the voice.
Mm-hmm.
They just need somebody to get them to that next level. I think Thibodeau tapped out. I think he maxed his potential there, and they're going to have to do something. But granted, I would have given him another year.
Yeah, I would have given him at least another year with a short leash.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem. I think that they were not ready to do it. I think they understand the moment is now.
Yeah.
But they're going to need to get somebody in a hurry. Like I said, Mike Malone makes the most sense to me as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Wright is a long shot.
Yeah.
Anybody else, I don't even want to hear this Dan Hurley talk from Connecticut. I don't. Like, listen, stop. No way.
On
no
paper,
how.
sure. In practice, probably not.
No, I mean, I remember the almost to L.A. didn't happen. Stop. I mean, I know that's
that's
the other name I heard. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I don't want. I think he's fine where he is in college. He is not going to be a good pro coach. That's what scares me with Jay Wright. But if Mike Malone comes in there, I think that's the move you make. But it's going to be a long offseason as the Knicks try putting this together. But it's all going to be based on who wins the NBA Finals, too.
Mm-hmm.
If Oklahoma City somehow loses, and let's say they get swept,
right,
they will make some moves, and it's going to be scary how fast they reload because they got that draft pick for days to do it.
Yeah, they do.
But I still think my pick is Thunder in 5. Pat has taken Pacers in 7.
6 or 7, one of the two, yeah.
But we gave you a lot to digest, ODPH Society. So hit us up on that hashtag ODPH Pod. NBA Finals, who you got and why? And then Tom Thibodeau. He's gone from New York. If you're the Knicks, what do you do now? But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You ever wondered what comics Mark from Balaam is into? What Zach from Left Behind's favorite MCU movies are? Well, Metalcore Nerds is the show for you. My name is Sean Mott, and here at Metalcore Nerds, we cover the latest things in pop culture, whether it be Star Wars, Marvel, DC, AEW, and everything else in between. You can listen to the show every Monday on Adobe Howl at 7 p.m. Eastern, or find it anywhere you find podcasts after it debuts on the radio station.
The content you are listening to is part of the Nerd Initiative Podcast Network. For more info about the home of pop culture positivity, be sure to check out nerdinitiative.com.
Coming back for another segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast, and it is a monster weekend for the WWE.
Monster Weekend coming up.
Yeah, indeed, because 2 big shows taking place on Saturday, June 7th. So, Pat, let's talk some pro wrestling.
Yeah, so starting this Saturday, first on for NXT and AAA. This will be on the Peacock here stateside. Check your local listings for where you are across the world. Will be NXT and AAA partaking in Worlds Collide. This will be at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. You know what they say, Inglewood, always up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
The matches on this card starting first. You've got the 6-man tag team match with Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, Angel, and Berto, taking on El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown.
This is going to be fun.
This is hold on to your butts and strap down your televisions.
It's going to get wild. I'm super excited. If you've never seen the team from AAA wrestle, do yourself a favor. Don't miss them. Psycho Clown is amazing. I've seen him in GCW a few times. And literally, this is a perfect thing for Legado del Fantasma.
This is probably going to open the show, and it's going to go nuts.
Yeah, Fantasma is they're going to really showcase what they can do. So I'm excited about this one.
I'm going to go with the AAA team.
Yeah, AAA is winning this one.
Next up is a singles match for the AAA Mega Championship with El Hijo del Vikingo taking on Chad Gable.
Possible match of the year candidate.
Which is wild to say.
Yeah,
will we get a special appearance from El Grande Americana?
I would love to see it, but I'm going to say no. But
never say never.
Listen, Chad Gable in this match, this is a high profile for him. Him and Vikingo are going to go tear the roof off the place. This is going to be that traditional clash of styles with the high flying offense of Vikingo versus the mat wrestling of Gable. This, like I said, this could be match of the year.
Mm-hmm.
This honestly could. Like, people say I'm crazy saying it, but no, this legitimately has a chance to.
Oh, yeah.
Vikingo is going to win. But Chad Gable doesn't take the L here. He's going to take a very big W because he's going to get on a lot of people's radars, which I think could help him later in the night. ...
Listen, this match is going to be featured heavily. I imagine this is probably going to be your main event of the evening. WWE very high on Vikingo, seeing as they've had him at what? At least one SmackDown and at least a...
They're getting him in front of the camera, yeah.
Yeah, he's... Out of everybody in AAA... some more obvious than others. He's been featured very prominently with that company, so they've got high prospects on him.
Well, plus, too, he was in AEW for a quick cup of coffee.
Yep.
So the American fans do know who he is.
Well, some do. There are some who don't watch AEW, which, to each their own.
Yeah.
But no, I expect this one. I don't think they're going to take the belt off Vikingo.
No way.
It'll be close. It'll be close, though.
Like I said, this could be match of the year.
If this were El Grande Americano,
different story.
They'd absolutely put the belt on him for this, just for reasons.
Different story.
Next up is a fatal 4-way match for the NXT North American Championship, and again, strap down your televisions, folks. Ethan Page is defending his belt against Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Rey Fenix.
I love this matchup. I do. Like I say, Laredo Kid is no joke. Rey Fenix, high-profile match for him. And Javon Evans, man.
Hey, good for him.
Listen, this is going to be a big-time moment for him. He should steal the spotlight here. They're going to do a lot of crazy stuff that you should not try at home. I want to say, you know what? Why not? Evans walks away with the title.
Okay. I'm going to say... Yeah, I'm going to go with you just because there are rumors percolating about Ethan Page and his future status with NXT.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just leave it at that. They're rumors. I don't know if they're true or not, but I've heard some things.
Listen, I think he's long overdue to get that main roster spotlight.
Listen, there are some folks that have been on NXT not so long that are getting promoted, and I think he's one of them.
Yeah. So I think this would be a good time to take the belt off him.
Yep. Next up is a tag team match with Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice taking on Chick Tormenta and Dallas. Now, we should note this will be Stephanie Vaquer's, at least for right now, last match in NXT because this past week she did officially sign with the Monday Night Raw roster.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a great match.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I am not doubting Lola Vice cost her the match.
She's absolutely 1,000% stone cold lock turning on Vaquer in this match.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. So Team AAA is going to win this one.
Yep.
And then, you know what? This gives a little small program with Vaquer and Vice. Listen, I'm okay with this.
Sure.
Even if Vaquer has to come down to NXT for a night, I think that's fine.
Sure.
So, but I'm going to say Team AAA wins this one.
I'm going to say AAA as well. Lastly, certainly not leastly, you have another 6-man tag match with the Latino World Order in Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde taking on Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana.
You never bet against Mr. Iguana. You don't bet. Him and Nino Hamburguesa, you do not bet against.
Don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger. You don't spin into the wind. And you don't bet against Mr. Iguana.
Mr. Iguana is winning this single-handedly.
Probably.
I mean, I will say this. Aerostar, if you've never seen him wrestle, he's going to jump off something really tall. Because he's crazy.
Yep.
LWO is going to have a great matchup, too. Like I say, you're going to see a great showcase happen here.
If you have watched Lucha Underground when this was on, when that was going, this card is probably going to be the closest thing you see to Lucha Underground.
Lucha Underground is so vastly underrated. My God, I miss it so much. Some of the storyline-wise, some of the crazy stuff you'll ever see. The in-ring stuff, oh my God. And you know the craziest part of that, too, Pat?
Yeah.
Majority of those wrestlers are now on the WWE roster.
I've seen some names popping up in just memories and old videos. But yeah, it's kind of surprising.
Oh my God. Yeah, I need to rewatch that. It's been a while. But I mean, a hell of a way to start off. Obviously, this is the joint show with AAA, and under the TKO/WWE umbrella. So they're gonna really show up, and you're gonna have a fantastic card to kind of ease into the day because it's a loaded night of wrestling. Because we have a staple of the WWE that is going to change 2 careers forever.
Absolutely. So then, taking place later that night, a couple hours after, starting time of 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Check your local listings when it is on in your area. From the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California, you've got Money in the Bank.
Yes, where 2 superstars are going to climb to the top of a ladder where a briefcase hangs overhead. Inside is a guaranteed contract to face a champion of their choosing in a calendar year. So they can cash in at any point. So if they want to call their shot early, they can do it. If they want to take out a wrestler that's been hurt and defeated after a match, they can just do it right then and there. There's a lot of great storylines that have done this. I mean, majority of the time, whoever has had the briefcase has cashed in successfully.
Wow, that's close. That's down the block.
Yeah, so like I say, they're right down the road for where they're having worlds collide. So it's perfect time. So if you're out in the LA area, you don't want to miss this.
Talk about the matches on this. First match we're going to mention is a last chance match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship between Lyra Valkyria defending her belt against Becky Lynch. If Becky Lynch loses, she can no longer challenge for the title as long as Valkyria is champion. And if Valkyria loses, she's going to be forced to raise Becky Lynch's hand and acknowledge Lynch as the better woman.
See, the whole thing about this match, I granted, I like what they're doing with this. But it's almost telegraphed a little bit.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, Becky Lynch coming back, working with more or less her protege in Lyra, Valkyria.
Yep.
So you know they're going to put on a hell of a match. And I thought they were going to do the belt switch last time.
Right.
Now I fully think they're going to do it just so Becky gets the moment in the sun where Lyra has to acknowledge that she's the better woman.
Yeah.
So I think that they've really telegraphed how this is going to be. It's going to be a solid match, though, regardless. Lyra has gotten a lot better. Becky puts her over better than most. I just think there's some stuff with Lyra's character that she needs to work on, but at the end of the day, it's to get Becky that acknowledgement, and then I don't necessarily know where we go from here, except I think the logical step is a program with Bayley for the IC title, but my only problem is you have two former world champions fighting for the mid-card title. I don't like that personally, because I think it's great for like Lyra to get into a program with somebody else and build that feud up, and then have those two in the mix for the world title. Right. But that's just me.
Match should be fine. I mean, the build-up to this has been so-so for me.
Yeah, it's been okay.
It's start, it's stop. It's, it seemed like it was over, then it restarted again. So we'll see how it goes. But no, I agree with you. It's totally telegraphed, just because I feel like if it was a case of like, okay, we've got the stipulation if Becky loses, but then if the stipulation for if Lyra lost and it was the same as what Becky's is, I'd be like, oh, we don't really know what's going to happen. But because it's night and day different, that okay, if Lyra loses, she's got to raise Becky's hand and acknowledge Becky is the better woman. Okay, you're kind of tipping your hand a little bit too much. Next up is the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, where of course you've got the 6 women taking place in a ladder match, where at the top of the ladder is a briefcase, and inside said briefcase is a quote-unquote contract, where the winner at any point of their choosing in the next calendar year can challenge for a title of their choosing at any time, any place, anywhere. And the participants of this match are Alexa Bliss, the Prodigy, Roxanne Perez, Mommy herself, Rhea Ripley, the Beautiful Madness, Julia, everyone's favorite new rising superstar, re-rising superstar, I guess you could say, Naomi, and the newest signee to Monday Night Raw, Stephanie Vaquer.
So they have really loaded the deck here.
Oh, yeah.
This is loaded.
Good luck picking one.
I honestly have a favorite in this one, though.
Okay.
But I'll explain how we break this down.
Okay.
So Julia and Stephanie Vaquer cancel each other out.
Probably.
Both just came up to the roster. They're not going to win. They're not going to have one go over the other just yet. Rhea Ripley does not need this title. She does not need the Money in the Bank briefcase. It just doesn't make any sense. Alexa Bliss, I could see doing it, but I just don't see her really needing it. Like, she's somebody that doesn't need to be in the title picture, even though they're kind of teasing her and Tiffany a little bit.
Sure.
Then you have Roxanne Perez and Naomi left. Perez is just starting her feud slowly but surely with Liv Morgan.
Sure.
And the Judgment Day, where I think that Liv ultimately costs her. It might be a situation she tries going for Rhea Ripley, which will make the internet groan for a second until it doesn't happen. I think the logical choice, and I think makes the most sense out of everybody, is Naomi.
See, but at the same token, though, I fully anticipate Jade Cargill to come out and interfere with Naomi. Everyone in this match, except for maybe Julie and Stephanie, has somebody that they're real not fans of.
Oh, sure.
Because even Alexa, You look at Alexa, Charlotte could come out and interfere her on this one.
But see, I don't think they'll make it that complicated. I think they'll have Naomi win it.
Okay.
Because that would tease more.
Sure.
About where she wants to go with her character. Because she could always just, depending on where the champion is that she wants to cash in on, it leaves the door wide open. Plus, her heel work has been so good. Yeah. I think they're going to give her a reward.
Sure.
And obviously she's earned it. I mean,
I agree.
That's the big takeaway there is I think she's earned this moment to do it, and I think that it makes the most sense to give it to her.
Sure. I agree with your Naomi pick. That when you talk about it that way, that makes a lot of sense. I think though, just because we don't know at this point what she's going to do, and giving her the belt at least gives us some iota of okay, we have an idea. I think they might go with Alexa Bliss.
I mean, they could. I
agree with you, Roxanne. It'd be nice to see. Too soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely Liv. If it ain't Liv, it's going to be Raquel Rodriguez coming out.
It'll be somebody from the Judgment Day.
Somebody from Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley. Well, we know Liv's guaranteed to come out for her or Roxanne. Julia, I agree with you. I think her and Stephanie cancel each other out. And then Naomi, I just really think I could see it coming down to her and Alexa Bliss on the ladder, and then Jade Cargill comes out and just really screws over Naomi, and that leaves Alexa Bliss on the ladder last and grabbing the briefcase.
It could. I mean, I just would want to see where they're going to go with the character.
Just because Alexa's been back since the Royal Rumble and been away for a little bit after that. Now she came back and she had the little thing with Charlotte, and it's like, all right, what are we doing here?
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. I don't know if they would necessarily give it to her unless they really want to give her a quick push.
Sure.
For the world title, but it all depends if they really want her versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
If they really want that matchup.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot more to be had if Naomi is the one to cash in on her. But we also know Evolution is coming up too.
True.
So they might be waiting to kind of set some things up there.
Could be.
Because obviously there's rumor, and we stress rumor, about a possible Mariah May coming in.
Yeah, that name is floating around.
That could be something to keep an eye on too as well for Alexa Bliss. So
all we know with her is she is off the roster on AEW's website.
Yes. So that's why I say, I mean, this one I think is kind of between Alexa and Naomi, but I'm going to say Naomi takes the stuff.
Then you've got the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which is the same setup as the women's. You've got the 6 gentlemen battling for the briefcase where they can cash in the contract in said briefcase for a title opportunity of their choosing, anytime, anyplace, anywhere. Participants in this match are Solo Sikoa, L.A. Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, and El Grande Americano.
Okay. I'll let you go first. Who's taking this one?
I really wasn't sure until Monday night where they had the final triple threat match between AJ Styles, CM Punk. First time in 20 years, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
wild.
Wild. And El Grande Americano. And part of me had hoped it would be Punk. Punk did tease us Summer of Punk, which, would love to see that again. Wouldn't hate seeing AJ with the belt, but if I had to pick out of those three, would have preferred to see Punk. But as soon as, they counted 1, 2, 3, I think they fully tipped their hand who they're going to give this to. It's going to be El Grande Americano.
I hope they do. Listen, if one member of the roster deserves it right now, it is Chad Gable.
Who are you talking about? That's not Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Have you seen them in the same room together?
No, and I love how he explained how they had the same boots.
Yeah.
That's on Twitter right now. It's amazing. I think that's who I'm rooting for.
Right.
Because I think, and I'm fearing this, I am fearing that they're going to give it to Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Because they kind of teased a little bit about if, for example, if Punk cashes in, or he's now feuding a little bit with Jey Uso.
Right.
I could honestly see them have Rollins win on Saturday and him come in and cash in on Monday night.
Oh, okay.
Because I know they really want to push this faction of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed to the moon, which shout out to Cameron Grimes.
Shout out Cameron Grimes.
Shout out Cameron Grimes. Still not over him getting released. But I think that that's where they're going with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will be ecstatic if they give it to Chad Gable, because I would imagine at that point he rips the mask off.
Probably.
Because he's too amped up and doesn't realize what he's doing.
Probably.
Listen, give it to me. I'm okay with this. I think Gable with that opportunity would do magic.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know if they're going to. That's the only thing that I really want to see. Because I mean, looking at everybody else, Solo is in that weird kind of...
They don't really know what they're doing with him right now. Yeah.
I mean, I think all signs point to him and Jacob Fatu for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
And then L.A. Knight, what are we doing here?
Uh-huh.
I don't.
Penta, I could see just because, boy, they're really high on him.
Penta would make sense.
No pun intended.
Penta would, but I think that they would much rather see him go for the IC right now.
Sure.
I could see that
Sure.
playing a little better. And Andrade
Andrade'd be a real dark horse.
Yeah, I think because he's sleeping under the radar, even though he's great in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know necessarily.
I wouldn't be mad if Andrade got it. I'd be like, oh, all right.
No, I definitely wouldn't be mad either. But I think that that's kind of where they have to see how it all shakes up there. But that's why I say I think the lock is Seth Rollins for that reason. Mm-hmm. But, man, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really want El Grande Americano.
It's probably going to be him. The meme has lived this long. Why not let it go a little longer?
Yeah.
And then lastly, and certainly not leastly, this is either going to open or going to main event. I'm not sure which. It's the tag team match with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso taking on John Cena and Logan Paul.
So this one, I'll tell you, this is going to be fun.
Yeah,
That's the easiest way to describe it. John Cena and Logan Paul is not the duo we want, but it's the one we're getting.
Possibly the most hated tag team in WWE wrestling history.
Throw in with some Travis Scott, and I think you might have it.
Oh, good Lord.
And then Cody Rhodes, the quarterback, which the minute that got said, I immediately thought of Terrell Owens' press conference.
That's my team.
Yep, I just saw
Quarterback.
I just saw Jey Uso crying at a press conference. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I just did. So those two, I mean, they're magic together. So I think they're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
I would not doubt though if Travis Scott gets involved and Jimmy Uso comes out, we do get the rumored Cody and the Usos versus Travis Scott, Logan Paul, and John Cena. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not saying this with a lot of joy in my voice.
Oh, I know.
But I'm saying I wouldn't doubt it because I think they have to do something in this situation where ultimately Team Cody wins. Mm-hmm. I think they have to because I think Logan Paul eats the pin.
Sure.
But or unless they have Travis Scott and he eats the pin, which makes sense. But I think you're not going to have John Cena lose. It's going to tease whoever he's going to be facing next. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily know if they would go with the Cody rematch.
For what it's worth, Travis Scott is not currently touring.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so that rules out any. Well, I was thinking, well, if he's touring, and he's somewhere overseas or another part of the world, that kind of rules him out of being out of California.
Yeah,
but he's got some dates coming up, but they're not till like late July, early August.
Yeah,
so it's possible.
That's why I say I think he's going to intervene somehow, and that's why I think
I think you're right, just because the last 2 weeks, especially between Raw and SmackDown, The Rock has been getting brought up again. That like we haven't seen him since, what the hell was it, Elimination Chamber? Mm-hmm. Where he did the whole thing and it was a whole turn with John Cena and blah blah blah. And then he was no show for WrestleMania, but that was obviously because he was filming the movie with Scorsese. But past that, haven't seen him, haven't heard from him, haven't heard mention of him. But all of a sudden in the last 2 weeks, Punk mentioned him. And then I know he got mentioned by Cody when Cody came back or made his re-debut, whatever you want to call it, on SmackDown last week. So I think you're right. I think there is something to the possibility of Travis Scott showing up on Saturday.
Yeah, which I think they just really want to have a fun moment. That's the whole thing.
It'll be fun, but I'll hear the first couple notes of Fiend kicking in, and I'm going to audibly groan.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. I'm kind of there with you because I'm not a fan of this move, but I get it. And
no, I do too.
It makes sense. I mean, WWE is a business. They want to draw attention to the product. Travis Scott is a name. Obviously, he has a lot of fans in this world.
That is true.
And they'll tune in to see him,
which
is fine. So, obviously, if it gets more people watching wrestling, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm just not excited about this match. Like, it's going to be fun, but it's going to be what it's going to be. And like I said, Cody wins because I fully think they're going to set up Cody is going to have his rematch.
Probably.
Against Cena. Which,
probably.
I mean, listen,
I'll say next PLE after that is going to be Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia at the end of June.
Yeah, so I wouldn't doubt. I mean, depending on what Cena's schedule is.
Boy, I don't think they've had they haven't had Night of Champions in a while. Last Night of Champions was 2023.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I say, if they have Cena.
Before that, it was 2015. That's why I don't remember it all that often. Holy smokes.
Well, I haven't done that, in quite some time.
The last one was 23, and then prior to that was 2015 in Houston, where, oh boy, wait till you hear who the main event of this one was. Main event of this one was Seth Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Sting.
Oh.
Co-main of that was John Cena defeating Seth Rollins for the United States Championship.
Wow. That was so long ago.
Dudley Boys versus New Day was on that card.
Yeah, I remember that as the passing of the torch, so to speak, there. Wow.
You had Charlotte with Becky Lynch and Paige defeating Nikki Bella, Alicia Fox, and Brie Bella.
Wow.
Yeah, this is how long ago this was.
That's taking me back some memories.
Wyatt family defeated Roman, Dean Ambrose, and Chris Jericho in a 6-man tag. I might have to go back and watch this pay-per-view.
Yeah, that might be given worth a watch there, to say the least.
Oh, God, I forgot. Dolph Ziggler defeated Rusev. He was paired with Summer Rae at that point. Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, that was the weird.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I forgot
That's
about
probably why I forget about it.
I might have to go back and watch this.
That might be why I forgot about it. But yeah, we'll have to say. But it all stems from Money in the Bank and obviously where they're going in that direction. So there's a lot of moves happening for WWE. There is one, though, we have to say with a little bittersweet tone, though.
Yeah.
There was an releases, or should I say, contract non-renewals happening as of late with WWE, and one has really shook up the IWC, and I understand why.
Yeah.
And Pat, who was released?
His contract isn't being renewed, and that is R-Truth.
Yeah, that's right. So Ron Killings, who has been with WWE since what, 99?
At least it's a while.
Yeah, since he came in as K-Quick. Obviously has won over fans left and right and is just such a charismatic wrestler. He did put on Twitter that
he joined him 98.
Okay, 98. I knew it was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
He announced that his contract wasn't getting renewed and he was going to be leaving the company, which is a lot of fans, a lot of wrestlers are all sending out their, best wishes for him and just the impact he's made with everybody. And I know he was really told about that. Carlito was another one.
Yep.
So
Sarah Logan
as well. So I mean, WWE has been doing some unrenewals.
Yeah.
Which it's part of the business.
It's a business. I mean, it sucks, especially in the case of R-Truth. But at the end of the day, they got to do what they got to do. I'm not condoning it. I'm not endorsing it. They know their business side of things. I'm not going to sit here and try and say, well, they did it for reasons X, Y, and Z. I don't know what they are. I realize the optics of it aren't good, and to a certain degree, I agree with that. But then again, I'm like, all right, we're only seeing one side of this book. We don't know what the other side says.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it is a business. They have to make business decisions. They have a very heavy roster right now.
Yeah.
Which, every time we talk about a Ricky Starks coming up there, or Ricky Saints, I should say.
Ricky Saints, yeah.
Or an Ethan Page. Or
both are rumored to be on the way.
Right. There's only so many spots on a roster.
Right.
And as painful as it is to say, because, we all love R-Truth. His humor is just unmatchable.
I'll say the couple of times I can remember he came here to our area, easily biggest pop of the night.
Oh, easily, yeah. And just the stuff he did in the ring with Brock Lesnar and some of the vignettes there. Like I say, he's so charismatic. I thought they would have offered him a coach role.
Or like a Legends deal.
Yeah, something like that.
And that might still happen.
Which they still might. Just in the current phase for what he's on his contract now, it's not getting renewed. He will land somewhere, whether it's TNA, which I could see him going back to.
I think that's more than likely the case.
Yeah, I don't see him going to AEW.
No.
I could be wrong.
No.
But wherever he ends up, obviously, we wish him the best, and we'll be watching him wherever he's doing in his future endeavors. I know that there's a quote-unquote other account set up right now.
Allegedly.
I
don't know if it's real. Allegedly.
I don't know either, but
I saw the screenshot. I didn't want to see any further.
It just made me smile seeing that because that's Ron Killings being Ron Killings. So
yep.
Good luck to him on his future endeavors. Obviously, we'll be supporting him wherever he lands. And for more wrestling content, I know Rich and Sammy are waiting to dive in about these subjects some more.
Oh, yeah.
So Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Nerd Initiative YouTube. Tune in for Wrestling Night Live. But in the meantime, hit us up on the hashtag ODPH Pod. Big week for WWE. Worlds collide. Money in the Bank. What are you watching? And then let us know your favorite R-Truth moment. I think that'd be kind of something cool to see what everybody's reaction for all his different crazy vignettes he's ever done.
I'll say the 52-time, 24/7, 7-Eleven, I-95 South, European, or whatever the hell the long title he gave that thing was. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so many. Sioux Falls City is one
that
ranks up there with me. But wherever your best memory is, hit us up and let us know. We're going to get our final break in. We'll be right back.
This is Tom from Tom Joe Lou,
This is Matt from Sidemen Sounds.
and you're listening to ODPH Podcast.
Wanna go where no one knows my name, to the desert, the oceans, or the plains. 'Cause I wanna...
Coming back for the final segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast. Pad, what you got?
I got a couple things to talk about. First, which is obviously the local minute and looking at the standings for the AA Eastern League division where our Binghamton Rumble Ponies play. Another week, still in first place.
Let's ride.
Sitting in first place with a record of 33-17. Second place is the Portland Sea Dogs. They are the Boston Red Sox affiliate. They are 5 games behind Binghamton. Hartford Yard Goats, the Colorado Rockies affiliate, with a record of 25-26. They are 8.5 games behind our Binghamton Rumble Ponies. Then you've got the Somerset Patriots, who are 9 games behind the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. New Hampshire Fisher Cats, the Toronto Blue Jays affiliate. They are 12.5 games behind the Rumble Ponies. And then you've got the Reading Fightin' Phils, who are 14.5 games behind the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. Looking at their schedule from this past week, they had a series where they were on the road playing Chesapeake. They won their game on Tuesday by the final score of 4-1. Had an off day on Wednesday, probably rain, knowing the Northeast.
Rain?
Yeah, really. Tell me about it. We're drowning up here in soaking weather. They had a doubleheader on Thursday. They won the first game 2-1, won the second game 4-1. Won the game on Friday 2-0, won the game on Saturday 8-1, and then completed the nice sweep of the weekend series, winning the game on Sunday by the final score of 5-3. They got the home series starting this week on Tuesday, June 3rd, running through Sunday, June 8th, against the Somerset Patriots. So a little bit of AA minor league Subway Series action. Game on Tuesday is at 6:07 p.m. Eastern. That is 2 for Tuesday. So every drink and the stadium is 2 for 1. Wednesday, June 4th, 11:05 a.m. Eastern. That is a baseball and education day number 2. That is also a We Care Wednesday. So that's where they feature a local nonprofit organization making a difference in our community. Thursday, June 5th is at 6:07 p.m. Eastern. Some of the highlights for that one, you got Rumble in the Kitchen. It says it's the area's premier cooking competition, and it's taking place at Marabito Stadium. For the 5th year, some of your favorite restaurants compete with set ingredients to make their best creation. The best part? You have the opportunity to be a judge.
Ooh.
It's also Throwback Thursday, so they will be taking the field not as the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, but as the Binghamton Mets. Got that going on, and then it is the tasting ticket, so it is the opportunity to be a judge for the tasting competition. Friday, June 6th, 7:05 p.m. Eastern. You got a couple things going on there. You've got it is a fireworks night, and it is music of the 2000s themed fireworks. So it says Y2K Southern Tier Shortcakes Night. Take a look back in time with us as we celebrate the year 2000 and return of the Southern Tier Shortcakes. So they will be wearing the Southern Tier Shortcakes. I would imagine that means the Strawberry Festival is going on that same weekend. That's when they usually run that jersey. Then you've got Saturday, June 7th, 6:07 p.m. Eastern. They will be playing as it was Southern Tier Shortcakes, Diners, and Bang. We're setting out to find the best baseball in the Northeast on Southern Tier Shortcakes, Diners, and Bang. Join us for one night as we celebrate the classic Americana Diner as the Southern Tier Shortcakes take the field against the AA Yankees. So they'll be wearing the jerseys as well. There will also be a Southern Tier Shortcakes jersey giveaway. So that is where if you're one of the first 1,000 fans through the gates, you receive a Southern Tier Shortcakes replica jersey. Speaking from experience, because I happened to go on the night they were the Binghamton Creatures last year. That's where they were honoring Rod Serling in the Twilight Zone and wearing a Rod Serling Twilight Zone themed jersey. Wasn't going to try and get a jersey. If I got one, it would have been nice. But I showed up at the normal time I do, which was not at game time. It was at least a half hour before game time. I had a hard time finding parking. So if you're in the area and you're thinking of going that night, yeah, get there early. It is also pre-K graduation celebration. It says, backed by popular demand, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies and Valley Dental Pediatrics are teaming up for a special graduation ceremony for all local pre-K students. Sign up your local pre-K students to receive a complimentary ticket diploma, an opportunity to walk in a pregame graduation ceremony along the warning track before the game.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. And then Sunday is June 8th is a 1:05 p.m. start time. Got a couple things going on for this one. It is a Kids Eat Free Sunday, so every kid 12 and under gets a voucher good for a hot dog and a regular soda. You've got Sock Out Cancer Day, which the Binghamton Rumble Ponies and Security Mutual Life Insurance are teaming up to raise awareness in the fight against cancer on Sock Out Cancer Day. Players and coaches will wear specialty batting practice tops that will be auctioned off with proceeds going to Sock Out Cancer. It is a Kids Club Sunday, so every Sunday home game at Maravito Stadium is a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sports Kids Club Sunday for only $15. Register your kid 12 and under. Into the coolest club around town. Kids Club membership includes one reserved grandstand ticket to all Sunday home games, and bonus game on July 20th, Super Splash Day, shirt, lanyard, and access to Kids Club member exclusives. But also, it's I've Got a Golden Ticket Day.
Oh,
There are only 5 golden tickets, and the whole ballpark is looking for them in hot dogs. Join us as we celebrate a world of pure imagination with the Great Golden Ticket Search. 5 lucky fans who find a golden ticket in their hot dog will win 2 half-season tickets for the remainder of the regular season. That is a hell of a giveaway. I actually like that idea. That's really clever.
that's a very cool giveaway.
That is very clever. So they got that going on, and then they're on the road the following week. And they're on the road after this week, they're on the road for the next 2 weeks. They won't return home until the end of June, starting on June 24th. So you want an opportunity to see them this month. This is going to be a good one to do it. More tickets, information, all that good stuff, bingrp.com.
And at least they have a better record than the Colorado Rockies.
Hoy, you ain't wrong. Good Lord, the Colorado Rockies, who are sitting in last place in not only their division, but all of baseball. Hey, they hit 10 wins, but they're 10-50.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty safe to say that they will not.
They're not eliminated from postseason contention yet, but mathematically, it ain't looking good.
No, definitely not. So this weekend, though, it's a crazy one, as we say, going on with the UFC.
Yeah.
So going over very briefly, because it's just been a lot going on. Big bantamweight bouts taking place at UFC 316. Merab Dashali is taking on Sean O'Malley in the main event. So there'll be a lot to be had there. And Juliana Pena is taking on Kayla Harrison.
Oh.
So this has been the stacked TKO card.
Yeah, Calvin Gastelum's on the card as well. Vincente Luque, Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
So we're going to dive into that a little more next week.
Okay.
So just because I know there's been a lot going on with the TKO stuff.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure there was going on there. Plus, I was waiting to hear if they were going to be doing another fight announcement. But either way, UFC 316 is taking place this weekend. So you definitely want to make sure you're checking it out because, like I say, it's going to be a long day of TKO programming, and you can never go wrong with that. Also, we said it was kind of quiet with the entertainment news. The only thing really kind of breaking is tomorrow, as we're recording, Fantastic Four tickets go live.
Oh, okay.
So if you're in the United States, you want to go to the movies to go see it, it's going to be the hottest ticket of the summer, allegedly.
Yeah.
Because I still say Superman's going to be up there.
Yeah.
It'll be time to go to your local theaters, go support them, and get out there and go watch the film on the big screen.
So I know PlayStation's having a State of Play broadcast tomorrow afternoon, so I haven't really heard too much whether it's going to be something big or just, hey ho, here's another bunch of indie games we're promoting that are coming out on the platform. So we'll see. There's been rumblings about Kingdom Hearts 4, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, there's been some rumblings going on with it.
I know there was a voice actor who confirmed he was in the recording portion. It wasn't one of the major main characters, but there was a voice actor who said, I've been told I can disclose I'm doing this, and then the tweet got taken down within a week. So
yeah.
There's rumblings. We'll see.
There's been some rumblings too. I think the only other major news has been breaking entertainment wise. Like we said, it's been kind of a very quiet week. Netflix had their Tudum series go on.
Yes.
So the Frankenstein trailer came out. Looked very, very good.
Very good. Yeah. Guillermo del Toro is the director. It looks phenomenal.
And it was announced that the end of Stranger Things is finally happening.
In 3 parts.
Because
we want to drag this shit out.
Well, it makes sense, though, because they want to make it into a big movie.
I do, too. But then you look at the dates they're releasing on, and it's, Christmas Day and then New Year's Eve?
Yep, it's home for the holidays.
I get it, but it's like, good Lord.
They're maxing it out because I think it's the perfect time to end it.
Yeah.
They should have ended at the end of last season, too, but obviously the left fans wanting more. So 3 parts are going to be coming out November 26th, December 25th, and 31st, respectively. So make sure you got your Netflix subscriptions up to date by then. Because in the meantime, though, we got a lot of great comics to talk about because, Pad, it's New Comic Book Day coming up on Wednesday. What are you picking up?
Picking up the 3 issues I am reviewing for Nerd Initiative this week, and the first of which is Star Wars Jedi Knights, issue number 4 from Mark Guggenheim. You've got Raza on the cover art. Metabak Musabekov is the artist, and the description of this one reads, quote, "The galactic chase to end all chases. Phaedra, from Han Solo and Chewbacca, has stolen thousands of credits from Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, that's never good.
And now Aura Singh, Zam Wessel, Bane Millar, and the entire galaxy is after her, including Jedi Knights Qui-Gon Jinn, Shakti, and guest starring Jango Fett."
Hey, there we go.
You got a Fett in the business. It is a fantastic issue. I will give you that a little early preview. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to give that one a pick up at the shop this week. Also, Star Wars The High Republic, Fear of the Jedi, issue number 5 from Kevin Scott. The description of this one is a call to arms. The Geos under attack, Republic forces outnumbered and outgunned, with the battle for Iriadu and the fate of the Republic hanging in the balance. Jedi Marshal Keeve Trennis addresses the galaxy. The end of the war is coming, but who will pay the ultimate price? Close quote. If you have been keeping up with the High Republic stuff, be it just the adult novels, the adult and the YA, if you've been reading everything High Republic, how much time do you have? Because that's impressive. You're definitely going to want to pick this one up. That's all I'm going to say about that. Lastly, certainly not leastly, oh boy, you've got Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, issue number 1 from Dennis Camp. This one, oh boy, the description of this is Miles Morales caught in the middle of a universal collision. 2 of today's most exciting writers, Dennis Camp and Cody Ziegler, join forces for an adventure that will change Miles Morales and the Ultimate Universe forever. Drawn by rising star Jonas Scharf, the brilliantly moody artist who brought you Ultimate Universe 1 Year In and Dark X-Men. Before the maker remade Earth 6160, he left Miles Morales the key to reach his new universe. But when Miles' baby sister, Billy, uses it to travel to the Ultimate Universe, it's up to Spider-Man to save her. But the Ultimate Universe is never safe for any Spider-Man. When the Spot attacks, Miles will have to team up with an all-new Peter Parker, and that's just the start of his journey across Earth 6160. You're not going to want to miss this one this week. That's all I'm going to say.
Marvel has a stacked week of events. So obviously the Incursion one is one you don't want to miss. The Ultimate Spider-Man has been Marvel's best title, period. Let alone you have Dennis Camp, who's making a claim to be comics' best writer right now.
He's my favorite writer right now.
I'm saying, he's in that conversation if he's not number 1. I'm just putting that out there. So the fact that he's tagged to this is huge. Another very, very well-known writer is also making a big splash in Marvel this week. Imperial is taking place. So this is the epic going on with Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto.
Right.
So we do know them from Ultimate Spider-Man. But they're going to be doing something with the Nova helmet on the cover. That's all you need to really know about that. And then the other event that I can't speak enough about as somebody that grew up in this era.
Okay.
Marvel Knights is coming back.
Oh, wow.
So, Pat, are you very familiar with that?
I've heard the name, and I know a little bit.
So to kind of give a brief synopsis, 1998,
right?
Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti were heading up Event Comics. They had a character named Ash. They also were taking over some of the obscure characters at Marvel under the Marvel Knights banner, which is kind of doing mature storylines.
Right.
So they actually got the one and only Kevin Smith to write Daredevil.
Oh.
So they have a fantastic story for Daredevil. If you haven't read Guardian Devil, you need to go check that out. Also at the same time, Black Panther was redone by Mark Teixeira and written by Christopher Priest, which is phenomenal. And for the influences you saw in the Black Panther movies, it comes from that run.
Right.
Also, the Inhumans were there. And I'll say this, probably the best Inhuman story ever done.
Oh, okay.
Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee. I'm going to say it's if it's not number 1, it's in that conversation. And there was a Punisher story in there I don't want to spend a lot of time on. I'm just going to skip that one. But what brings me to this point is, since that time, we're now coming to a Black Panther story done by Christopher Priest, drawn by Joe Quesada. It's called Marvel Knights: The World to Come. So this is going to be a 3-issue series, I believe. And this is going back under the banner of Marvel Knights. So I am going to say, if you're not familiar with it, get familiar. And if you read that era, like, you got to be ecstatic about this. So definitely want to make sure you check that out. What I'm picking up this week, Amazing Spider-Man number 5. That is the end of the Joe Kelly, Pepe Larraz Hobgoblin arc. So a lot of good things happening there. Also from DC Comics, because it's a loaded DC week. One of my favorite stories going on right now, Absolute Superman number 8. So Jason Aaron and Rafa Sandoval, they are kicking off a brand new arc going on there. Like I say, everything in the Absolute Universe is just absolute money right now, so you definitely want to go check that out. Justice League The Atom Project is wrapping up, so it's the finale issue taking place. It's kind of been I was going to say the story has been, you'll understand if you've been reading a lot of other DC titles. So if you're familiar with We Are Yesterday, the crossover happening with Justice League Unlimited and Batman Superman World's Finest, you'll get a deeper appreciation for it. Because a lot of it ties into Absolute Power. And another series that is very much influenced by what happened in Absolute Power is Secret Six.
Ooh.
So that's Nicole Maines and Stefan Segovia. And the most dysfunctional 6 people are on a rescue mission to find Amanda Waller, who has escaped or was taken from her jail cell, shall we say. And where things go from there, it's just as crazy as you would think. So you want to check that one out. And JSA number 8, Jeff Lemire, Gavin Guidry is on the art for this one. And listen, you want a very cool classic story. Pat, I'm just showing you the cover if you can see it from here.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a very cool throwback style. It's from the days of the World War II era of the JSA, and it is just, like I say, for me, I love seeing stuff like that when it's the JSA and it's just doing JSA superhero stuff too. You can't go wrong with that. Image Comics, Radiant Black, number 34. So obviously what is going on in the Massiveverse is always must-read material, so you definitely want to keep an eye out for that. And last but certainly not least, an issue, or I should say series, is returning. One I have been eagerly anticipating. I've been waiting for this one. By a Thread.
Ooh.
Book 2, number 1. Let's go Scott Snyder, Jack Snyder, Valerie Facosia. And the story is taking place, like, this is a very, very cool fantasy adventure. If you haven't read the book 1, I recommend checking that out. It is currently in print via Dark Horse Comics. You can read it on Comixology Originals if you so choose to. And this one is, like I say, it's out today, so I can talk a little bit of spoilers because you can read it on Comixology. So they do focus a little bit on where Joe and the group of his survivors have been trying to find refuge, because obviously the Shroud has taken over. They're on the run from Charon and Ren and the situation. But they decided to throw a spotlight on Charlie, one of the kids in the group. So it is this series has been fun, and if you really like that fantasy adventure, they do an amazing job with it. Scott and Jack write an amazing story. Valeria is absolutely crushing the art on this. So if you're not familiar with the series, I highly recommend go check it out on Comixology Originals. And if you want even more comic reviews, Nerd Initiative has you. I want to say we were up to like 35 if I did my last check.
Sheesh.
Between the website and the YouTube channel. So you definitely want to go check that out starting at 9 a.m. on nerdinitiative.com, and then heading over to YouTube at noon, because nobody does New Comic Book Day quite like Nerd Initiative. But that all said, for anything and everything that is the ODPH, find it at odphpodcast.com. That's it for this week. So for the one and only Padawanje,
fuck the Astros.
I'm your host, Ken M. Thank you as always for listening to the ODPH podcast. See you next time.
It's such waste of time, swiping left and swiping right on people you could know. 'Cause anyone who's worth a damn be worth way more than a picture could ever show. You could find the right light, find the right angle, and never find your soul. And it can feel like a losing battle, and this plot is full of holes. This modern way of finding love just makes me feel so alone. And I can't be the only one sick of staring at my phone. So look up time fabled. Everyone has just one true love. All I know is you're across this table, and you're all I'm thinking of. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me, we don't have to float alone on the open sea. Talk to me. Talk to me. It's such waste of time, swiping left and swiping right on people you could know.